Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. If you love all things Korean skincare, please consider hitting subscribe anytime during the video if you want to see more from me. So today I'm going to be doing another Isntree line review. Now, if you couldn't tell already, Isntree has become a real go-to brand for me, especially on my fragrance-free journey. If you are looking to avoid artificial fragrances, essential oils, and alcohol in your skincare products, they've got a lot of choices for you. So I've just been exploring a lot of their products recently. So today I want to do a real deep dive into their hyaluronic acid line, probably their most popular offering, and really dive in deep, talk about the ingredients, my experience using these products, and if I think they're worth it or not. So if you're so ready to get this review started, give the video a big thumbs up and let's do it. So let's talk hyaluronic acid really quickly. Now this is a real hydrating ingredient, is it not? Very, very popular. And what it really does is it's very good at attracting hydration in the environment. So basically humidity. It attracts that humidity and it binds it to your skin. Some of the drawbacks of hyaluronic acid are the fact that it's actually a really big molecule. Very, very big molecule, and it has poor penetration on the skin, which means that hyaluronic acid is really good at hydrating just the top layer of your skin. And this is considered high molecular weight hyaluronic acid. Of course, we know, we're into it, we're pretty educated, we already know this. There is low molecular weight hyaluronic acid. Now, this is the hyaluronic acid molecule that's essentially been made smaller. It's been chopped up into tiny pieces, and those smaller molecules can get in there deeper and hydrate the deeper layers of the skin. So there are different types of hyaluronic acid out there, and Isntree has really recognized that, and they have used a really good mix of different molecular weights of hyaluronic acid throughout their product line. So let's start off with the very popular hyaluronic acid toners. So let's talk about the original or the clear bottle toner first. This features 3 different types of hyaluronic acid at different molecular weights, and it is used in a 50% solution. They are also combining this with other hydrating ingredients like glycerin, aloe, beta-glucan, and panthenol. And I can't stress enough how awesome this is. Not because more hydrators means more hydration, because as I mentioned earlier, there are some drawbacks to hyaluronic acid, and one of them is just the plain function, the mechanism of how hyaluronic acid works. Remember, it attracts hydration in the environment, in the air, humidity. If there is no humidity in the air, if you're in a dry climate, or even, sometimes air conditioning, a lot of forced air or heating can cause a dry environment. That can backfire for some of us, and what it does, since there's no hydration in the air for hyaluronic acid to bind and grab, it can pull some of the hydration from deeper in the layers of your skin out towards the surface, inducing transepidermal water loss or dehydration. So it is really, really important, and I think this is so great that Isntree has done this. They're balancing the hyaluronic acid with other hydrating ingredients. They're really harnessing the powers that hyaluronic acid can bring with other hydrators as well, and I think that that is a really smart move. Now, the texture of this toner, it is quite runny, but it's a very full body texture, and it does feel quite medium weight on the skin. It absorbs very, very well for a hyaluronic acid product. I found the tack factor, if you will, to be fairly low on this. Now, the toner itself does bring quite a bit of hydration. You can feel it really immediately when you put it onto your skin. But there is this whisper of moisture to this that was unexpected. It was surprising, but it was actually very, very nice because it brings a lot of balance into the skin. And by the way, the moisture that you feel on this, it's not greasy, it's not like rich, it's not going to make you shiny. It's just that little extra something that really seems to satisfy the skin's oil-water balance. Now let's talk about the plus version, which is the blue bottle. Now this features 5 different types of hyaluronic hyaluronic acid, where the original, remember, only features 3. But I have to stress that does not mean that the plus version has more hyaluronic acid. It just has a different variety of hyaluronic acid because they are still using that 50% solution. The plus toner, just like the original, also features glycerin, beta-glucan, panthenol, and aloe, but it also puts in a whole host of other calming extracts like centella and green tea. I know I've said it before, but I really got to point out one particular hyaluronic acid variety that they are using in this toner called sodium hyaluronic cross polymer. This is actually cross-linked hyaluronic acid, so it's basically like a mesh. So instead of a bunch of molecules hanging out in space, they're connected together and they create this hyaluronic acid mesh that forms this really protective layer on the skin. So super, super interesting. And this has been shown to decrease transepidermal water loss or dehydration actually a lot more efficiently than just other hyaluronic acid varieties, including high and low molecular weights. So this is definitely one of those ingredients that is going to hug hydration into the skin. Now, the texture of this toner is definitely thicker than the original. I almost classify this as a syrup-like toner. It spreads across the skin really beautifully, and you will feel quite a rich slip to this toner. Very surprising. You know, on the skin, it feels like 50% hydration and like 50% moisture. This does take a while to absorb in the skin, especially in comparison to the original. It does take a little bit more time to absorb, and it is stickier or tackier. You're definitely gonna get that like kind of sticky feeling on your fingers. It is going to be relieved with your next skincare layer, but definitely that stickiness is coming into play with this toner. Now, these toners are kind of taking the same original idea, but they are catering it to 2 different skin types. So the original, if you couldn't guess already, a little bit better for those on the more oily side. Oily skin types, combination a little bit more oily. This is going to be the one that you want to go for. This is not as thick on the skin, it's not as sticky, and it absorbs faster. Now, the plus version is going to be really great for those on the other side, right? A little bit more dry. You're going to appreciate this a lot more because remember, it's a little bit more moisturizing. It's got more balance to it, and it's got a much more protective feel on the skin. And I have to admit, I really like this product quite a bit. This is one of those toners that I like with a combination with another toner. You guys know I love to do like that hydration sandwich, a really, really thin, very, very watery toner first, and then sort of seal it in with a thicker toner. This works for that. I do truly believe that the hero ingredient here is the cross polymer hyaluronic acid, creating that mesh on the skin, that protective layer. I think that is the secret sauce here, plus the way that they formulated this with the other hydrators. It's just all across the board a very balanced toner. And so this is probably my favorite product from the Isntree HA line. Hyaluronic Acid Water Essence, which is a serum. Confusing name. Now, this uses 8 different types of hyaluronic acid, all at different molecular weights. This is going to be kind of a running theme throughout all of these products. So the different molecular weights are going to hydrate at different levels in the skin. They're calling it triple hydration. They are also balancing this out with other hydration heroes like panthenol and beta-glucan. But what is really kind of a standout unique ingredient for me personally on this one is their use of prickly pear seed oil. Now, this is extracted from cactus. It's an emollient plant oil, and it's actually very, very barrier supportive because the fatty acid content of this is very high in linoleic acid oil, which you hear me talk about a lot, but it's got a very pleasing and lightweight feel on the skin. The texture of this is quite elegant in my opinion. Now, it is sort of like milky opaque in appearance. It spreads across the skin really beautifully, and it has fantastic absorbency. Unlike the toners, there's really no tack, no stickiness to this one. But what was really surprising to me about the texture of this is it is actually a moisturizing serum. Like, what? This is actually, I was expecting like this to be a hydration balm, but in fact, it's actually more of a medium weight moisturizing serum. It doesn't have like a greasy feel or anything, but it just really, once it's absorbed, it fills your skin with balancing moisture. Now, I have to tell you, this product really surprised me. I do have some biases against hyaluronic acid, but for me personally, I found that the way that they formulated this to be incredibly smart and really just sophisticated, because they have really harnessed all the powers of hyaluronic acid, right? But they've outweighed some of those drawbacks with other ingredients, and they've really kind of brought everything together in harmony. The way that they've brought hydration and moisture together in harmony in the serum is just, it's incredibly surprising, but it's actually such a great product to balance your skin's oil and water. And I think that it can serve a lot of combination and drier skin types. If you are on the oily side, I don't think that this is for you. I think it will feel quite thick on your skin. But if you're somebody who is a little bit more on the drier side, seeking for that really balancing serum, I think that this could be really worth your time. So they do offer 2 moisturizers in this line. They are geared towards 2 different skin types, but both are very lightweight on the skin. So first up, let's start off with the Aqua Gel Cream, and this is going to be really best for those with oily skin up to combination oily skin. I love how Isntree self-describes this texture because they call it an elastic moisture gel cream, but it is a surprising texture because it does look like a cream when you squirt it out of the tube, but as you work it across your skin, it turns. It transforms into this really incredibly lightweight, almost watery gel type of texture. It is like featherweight on the skin, and it delivers such a deep burst of hydration onto the skin, and it feels really cooling and refreshing on, like, such a great summertime moisturizer because it's so cooling on the skin. This also includes a couple of really like soothing types of extracts like centella. There's green tea in here, licorice root, as well as one of my favorite anti-inflammatory ingredients, H. cordata extract, right? Hutainia cordata. I love that ingredient, so I had to call out to that one. But it's a very light texture. I can see how oily skin types would love this because there's really not that suffocating occlusivity to it at all. It's just light, it's hydrating, and it's just got that right balance to finish off your skincare routine. They do offer a cream that is geared more towards drier skin types, their moist cream. So Isntree self describes this as a creamy adhering texture. I actually would describe this as a light and hydrating cream that has a good amount of balancing moisture to it. This does feature 5 different types of hyaluronic acid, but I was more impressed to see ceramides, cholesterol, fatty acids, hello, moisture barrier supportive. Plus this has a whole host of nourishing facial oils in it, including squalane. It also has apricot, cacao seed, safflower seed, and argan oils in this. Now, I actually really love the way that this performs, and this is surprising because I am somebody, this is geared totally towards my skin type, by the way, but I am somebody who is skeptical of really lightweight, like gel type creams as moisturizers because I just have such a long track record of them just not working for me. They really don't, in my eyes, they really just don't protect my skin from dehydration. Now, of course, I found some that are an exception to that. They are exceptional products, a few, definitely. This is one of them. I was really impressed with how this performed. You know, it feels so light. It feels so hydrating on the skin, but it has that protective and balancing moisture. It's got the occlusivity that is going to fight transepidermal water loss while still being breathable and comfortable in oppressive humidity. It doesn't add any greasiness to the face, especially if you're on the more combo side, but you still struggle with dryness and dehydration. Oil and shininess is still an issue. This doesn't really add to that at all. This doesn't have like really any type of finish. It just absorbs into the skin so nicely. And one of the notes that I wrote myself is it has a day cream feel. This is really one of those great products if you like to wear something lighter weight for day and then go in for your super nourishing products at nighttime. This kind of serves that day cream purpose in my eyes. Now let's talk about the sheet mask in their line. This is their hyaluronic acid deep deep moisture water mask, and this features 3 different types of hyaluronic acid. It's actually a pretty minimal ingredients list, not really a lot of moisturizing ingredients in this one, by the way. Now, I did call it a sheet mask. It's actually not really a sheet mask. It's more like a gel mask because it's more of that jelly type of material, almost like a hydrogel. This does have a little cotton kind of gauzy backing that really just kind of helps keep the mask stable as you position it onto your face, and then you are meant to peel that off and you're just left with this gel, just really like cool and clinging to the face. So this was actually my least favorite product from the line. It was a really big disappointment. For me personally, I feel this mask just did not deliver deep hydration. I feel like the essence, which is kind of a little bit more of a gel, it's actually very similar texture to the original clear bottle toner. I feel like that just kind of sat on top of my skin. It just didn't really get in there deep and quench my dehydration. I feel like it was like a very surface level hydrator. But it did create kind of like a thickness on my skin that I just really didn't enjoy. For me, it missed a lot of marks. I kind of like the gel material. It feels very nice and cooling on the skin, but it was just a shame that it wasn't able to really get in there and do its job. The other mask that they offer is their hyaluronic acid water sleeping mask. And this was actually a surprising product for multiple reasons. But first, let's start with the texture. And you know I gotta share it. Isntree's self-described texture. They're calling this an elastic jelly texture. I don't know. I just think it's really funny. What I would actually describe this as is as a thick gel texture. When it comes out of the tube, it's actually very thick. And a quick tip for you guys, I would really recommend that you put it on the back of your hand and just warm it up in your fingers before you apply it to your face. It gives it better spreadability. It really benefits from a little bit of warmth. What is so surprising, this gel texture is moisturizing, because when I think of gel and when I think of hyaluronic acid, really, I think water and hydration. And this is really the hallmark of this entire Isntree line, because they do deliver the hydration, but they are really balancing it out with moisture. This delivers that cooling gel hydration. It also has some ceramides in it. It's got some other hydrators and moisturizers in it. No oils in this one, by the way, which surprised me, but it does have that balancing, moisturizing feel. I would say that this works really well on top of a moisturizer and other skincare products. It doesn't feel thick and heavy. It actually feels quite light and breathable, but big drawback in my opinion, it is quite sticky. It is quite sticky, and I personally found when I used this that it took a bit of time to absorb into my skin, so there was that kind of weird period of time where my hair was getting kind of stuck to my face was getting stuck to my pillow. So I would recommend actually applying this a little bit before you get into bed, about 20 minutes or so. It just needs that settling time. Now, as I mentioned, probably annoyingly a few times throughout the review, I have dehydrated skin. I don't have the best success rate with hyaluronic acid, not always the best mix, right? So I just never know what to expect when I start to test hyaluronic acid products. And this one in particular, I was very apprehensive about, because I personally use my sleeping packs as a way to fight dehydration during the nighttime. And I'm like, am I going to wake up with worse skin than when I went to bed? Like, this may not end well, but I'll do it for the sake of the review, right? I'll do it. So when I used this for the first time, I actually was very pleasantly surprised when I woke up the next morning, because my skin was just as hydrated and plump as it was the night before. So it definitely did its job protecting my skin. Now, I will probably admit on this one, it didn't really add a lot to my skin, and that's okay in my eyes. But if you're looking for a sleeping pack that's really going to add a lot of nourishment or a lot of hydration into your skin, I'm unsure that this is going to make you happy. I'm unsure about that, because for me personally, I just really feel like it just creates that really nice protective layer on the skin. But it didn't feel like my skin was more hydrated for having used it, or more nourished, if that makes sense. It was just protected. And for me, that was enough. I do feel that this is going to be best for those with combination all the way up to dry skin. Normal skin types might like this too. If you are somebody who has more oily skin, I say skip this, because it's going to be too thick for you. I don't think that you're going to find this light and breathable. I think it's going to be really thick and heavy and sticky for you. So my final thoughts on the line, you know, I actually was pleasantly surprised by it. I definitely am skeptical of hyaluronic acid, but I do feel that Isntree has really harnessed the powers of hyaluronic acid and really balanced the drawbacks of it with other great hydrating and moisturizing ingredients. And to me, that really is the unique hallmark of this line. It's the moisture. It's unexpected, but it really does elevate these products. That moisture alone really makes me think across the board, this line is really going to be best for more combination to dry skin types. Now, if you are oily, I would recommend checking out the original toner, especially if you love hyaluronic acid in your skincare. But I also would say the Aqua Gel Cream is something I really think that you would love. It's just that beautiful featherweight hydrating moisturizer. And something else that I wanted to mention in this review, I just didn't really know exactly where to say it, so this is the perfect time, right? As somebody who has the entire line in front of them, I've been testing out these products for a couple of months now, playing around. One thing I noticed, just a word to the wise, is I personally did not like combining these products in the same routine. You know, I couldn't use the Plus toner and the water essence serum and the cream. I couldn't use those all together because the number one thing I noticed, they start to build up sticky on the skin. So like that tacky factor just increases as you go along. It starts to feel very thick on the skin. Now this could be more of a skin type thing. This could be more due to my dehydration, but I started to feel like when I used more than one of these products together in the same routine, it sat on top of my skin, and that's when I started to feel just the whispers of dehydration occur on my skin. That's when I started to feel that slight tightness underneath, where I was like, this is not going to bode well. But the products on their own performed for me. So it's just something to be aware of. You may not want to go like, I'm going all in on HA, you know what I mean? I don't know if you want to stack your routine with the toner and the serum and the cream and the sleeping pad, and I don't think so. I think I would probably caution maybe just starting with one or two products, just to see how it goes, because yeah, it was one of those few lines that I felt like combining the products didn't necessarily serve my skin. So I hope you guys enjoyed that review. As I said at the beginning of the video, you know, Isntree has really become one of those very reliable go-to brands on my fragrance-free journey. So hopefully that helped you find some products that you may or may not want to add to your wish list. And let me know in the comments, have you guys tried Isntree products? Are you a fan? Let me know in the comment box. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, but the video was helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. I release 2 new Korean skincare focused videos every single week. Turn on notifications so you never miss out on those videos, because sometimes I release bonus videos. And if you haven't joined me on Instagram, but you'd love a daily dose of K-beauty on your feed and in your stories, come join me on Instagram. I post mini reviews, I post routines, and I introduce a lot of new products that you might not see on YouTube. So I just hope that you guys are doing so well. I hope that you are healthy. I hope that you are happy, and I am hoping that you are safe. So I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.